So, guys, I don't know if you know this, but Aristotle wrote that the Arcadia in Greece, before being inhabited by the Hellenes, had a population of Pelasgians, and that these aborigines occupied the land already before there was a moon in the sky above the earth. For this reason, they were called Proselines, pro meaning before, and selena being the root word for moon. Many scholars have talked about this actually. Apollonius of Rhodes mentioned the time when not all the orbs were yet in the heavens, before the Danai and Deucalion races came into existence, and only the Arcadians lived, of whom it is said that they dwelt on mountains and fed on acorns before there was a moon. Also, we have Plutarch, who wrote in the Roman Questions, there were Arcadians of Evander's following, the so-called pre-lunar people. Similarly wrote Ovid, the Arcadians are said to have possessed their land before the birth of Jove, and the folk is older than the moon. Hippolytus refers to a legend that Arcadia brought forth Pelasgus of greater antiquity than the moon, and Lucian in his Astrology says that the Arcadians affirm in their folly that they are older than the moon. I mean, he's skeptical, but he's still, he studies history. There's actually a couple other people who mentioned it. You got Anaxagoras, Democritus, and Censorinus. These people are real, okay? And the moon was not always there as well. Uh, Also, astrologically speaking, in archetype, Saturn is the Satan archetype, and Saturn is ruled by Capricorn, which just happens to be the goat, the Baphomet, because Jesus says, I put the sheep in my right hand, but the goats in my left. So it's really right here the archetype of the sign who wants worldly recognition. Capricorns are all about trying to make it in the world and get up on the corporate ladder and all that stuff. And, Aquarius is more about thoughts and ideas. Um, See, the sheep will be in his right hand, but the goats on his left. And there's even a verse that also mentions the right and left hand as well, Matthew 25:41. Oops. Then he shall say also unto them on the left hand, Depart from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. So, I mean, the right and the left has been a big archetype. Jesus is sitting on the right hand of God right now, and he's waiting for the throne whenever he comes down. And a lot of Satanists want to say, well, Lucifer brought us truth. But that's not true. I mean, the Bible says grace and truth came by Jesus Christ. So I mean, people just think what they want to think instead of what's actually there. Um, I don't know. It's really insane the time we live in. Um, and I mean, here's another biblical thing. Elon Musk says humans must become cyborgs to stay relevant, and sophisticated AI will make house cats of humans. So that's just his excuse to want us to want the mark of the beast. And what does the Bible say in the book of Daniel? And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. Okay, so the iron is the cyborg metal Borg stuff mixed with clay, our flesh. And of course, that's Daniel, the Old Testament, and then Revelation confirms that in the book, in the New Testament. Okay, there's just a whole lot of things. And at this shooting recently in Santa Fe, Texas, there's a Freemason. He's wearing the Freemason compass, and we're expected to believe this guy about what he saw about a shooting in a country that his society runs. Just ridiculous. Um, and here's ESP. If we consider this is from the Noetic Universe, a book I showed you last time by Dean Radin. Just read this. They do studies of it. There's over 600,000 reports. These skeptics don't have time to go into that because they're lazy and they don't want the truth. They want to push their ideological agenda. And even Instagram's getting kind of anti-First Amendment. They don't want things. Obviously, they'll say it's for bullying comments or upset people, but in the same sentence say we're a supportive place for all voices. So if I make fun of Islam or anti-gun people, is that going to offend them so I get kicked off? How about I'm offended? And look, it's just this reverse craziness. Asian Americans sue Harvard for admissions-based discrimination. It basically says they hold Asians to higher standards because they're genetically smarter. How racist is that? And so black people, they can get in for free, and Asians have to not only not get in for free, but have harder tests. This is insane. Just what we become, this whole left and right identity politics garbage. And Jordan Peterson is such a big name because he's the only one intelligently calling it out. And this is Nietzsche's opinion on identity politics. The greatest way to corrupt the youth is to have him hold in higher esteem those that think alike than those who think differently. Okay, this is exactly what's going on in the far left, radical left way of thinking. They just want to be held accountable by their skin color and their religion, and that they think that gives them authority. No, your brain gives you authority, your soul, your individual self, and that's what the West was all about, being an individual. And then we got Islam. Islam says everything one longs for in this world will be in heaven, plus 7 virgins to screw. And what does the Bible say? Deny self, gaining in riches is evil, resist temptation, and there's no physical body in heaven to please sexually. I mean, Islam is just a horrific religion that literally tells people to kill people. And they want to say Christianity is hate speech. Oh, it's crazy. Crazy, crazy. These so-called feminists. She's a feminist, but she's for Sharia law, which is about, you know, oppressing women. That's what it is. How can you be a feminist and a Muslim? If you're not a Muslim, if you don't believe the Quran, then you're not a Muslim, okay? And that's that. Um, America already has the patent on cannabis. I don't know if you know this. U.S. patent 6630507. Cannabinoids are useful in the treatment of the prophylaxis of wide variety of oxidation. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to pretend to read all those words real fast. But it's right there. There's your proof. And yet it's still classified as a Schedule 1 drug with heroin. Okay? Government can have all the opioids and shit, but, Americans can't. So, I mean, once again, my Instagram is just my, you know, my big middle finger to the world. Moon landing tapes got erased, NASA admits. It's an actual article. Ancient fossils reveal the first humans emerged 170,000 years earlier than we thought. It's a recent article from last year. And it's just, it's really crazy. And it's sad because the liberals were all pro-science, and they want to say conservatives hate science, but then they want to say there's no such thing as sex biologically, which is just insane. They want to say sex is based off of cultural oppression. Only girls don't go into bricklaying because they aren't given the opportunity. We'll go into bricklaying, and guys go into the fucking hair salons. Have fun with those jobs. You know? They already did that test in the Ukraine. Okay? Let's see what else we got here. And conservatives are wrong too. They want to say liberals only use emotion when debating, and then he's in the same breath they say I don't feel like good people smoke marijuana. Well, it's not your feelings that count, bro. It's it's truth and facts and data, and this is basically what we've become. We have everything to fulfill all of our desires and sins basically. I'm not a believer in the 7 deadly sins because that's nowhere in the Bible, but the sins themselves are worth noting. We have Tinder and Netflix to kill time and Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, and I mean I try and use YouTube to open people's eyes, not to close them, okay? That's my main agenda. But other people are using it, for other ways. And of course, Carl Jung is a huge influence on Jordan Peterson because look at their birth charts. They both have Saturn in Aquarius, Venus in Cancer, and Uranus in Leo. So these archetypes, of which Carl Jung studied, are affecting, Jordan Peterson's interest in him. Just like I have some stuff similar with Nietzsche, and Tupac has stuff with Machiavelli. So it's all a crazy show, And when we look at NASA, look at all these Freemasons and Nazis that run NASA. Okay? Well, Freemasons, they might not be the ones taking over the world. Well, then why is their name tag on the Denver International Airport mural? Okay? It's not a joke, okay? So the moon is hollow and it's fake, and when it came, it suppressed our consciousness in some way. And now we're just worshiping these freaking idols, these celebrities who just constantly say they're part of an evil system, and we don't care. Madonna, Beyonce, Gaga, it's all the same people. It's all the same stuff. So, anyway, that's just my thing. You can believe what you want, but I'll keep studying what's going on. And when Disney says ask about Illuminati in cartoons from the 60s, I figured that, yeah, it might be a little older thing than a Jay-Z music video. Okay, but y'all have a good one. Take care. And the Bible is not about greed or anything like that. Psalm 73:12. These are the ungodly who prosper in the world and they increase in riches. Yeah, those are the ungodly, not the so-called Christian white shooter-uppers of schools. Most of the schools that got shot up were by Democrats. Thank you. Have a good night.